Okay, so today we're jumping into this really cool scientific paper that honestly reads more like a high-stakes thriller. It's the story of a major agricultural superpest, a tiny fungus found on a single dead insect, and the battle that could totally change how we protect one of our most important food crops. And this is the big question, right, at the heart of it all. I mean, what do you do when the tools you've always relied on, like chemical pesticides, just stop working? It forces you to get creative, to start looking for answers in some pretty unexpected places. All right, so first up, let's meet the bad guy in this story. It's small, it's sneaky, and it's responsible for some absolutely devastating losses for farmers around the world. And if you want to understand just how high the stakes are, all you have to do is look at this number, 88%. In fields that are really badly infested, the sweet potato weevil can wipe out up to 88% of the crop. Think about that. That's a total catastrophe for any farmer and a serious threat to the food supply.
So here it is, the sweet potato weevil, or if you want to get technical, Cylas formicarius. This thing is a menace from start to finish. It'll attack the stems and leaves, but the real damage, the stuff that's truly devastating, happens underground. The weevil actually lays its eggs inside the sweet potato roots, destroying the very thing the farmers are trying to grow.
So what makes this little guy a true super pest? Well, it's super sneaky. It lives most of its life underground, and it's nocturnal, so it only comes out at night. That means spraying pesticides on the surface, a lot of the time, they don't even touch it. And, as if that wasn't bad enough, it's starting to build up resistance to the chemicals that do manage to make contact. A real nightmare. Okay, so chemicals are failing. What do? Well, the researchers turned to a totally different kind of warrior, one that's been fighting insects for, just millions of years. And that brings us to the hero of our story, these things called entomopathogenic fungi. Let's just call them EPFs, it's way easier. Basically, these are nature's own bug assassins. Instead of some synthetic chemical, these fungi are natural parasites. They infect specific insects and kill them. It's a really powerful and much more eco-friendly way to control pests. Now, the scientists in this study, they zeroed in on one particularly famous EPF. It's called Metarhizium anisopliae. It's used a lot in agriculture. But here's the thing. They weren't looking for just any old off-the-shelf version of this fungus. Nope. They were hunting for something very, very special. You know how a sports team has a home field advantage? It's kind of the same idea here. A local fungus, one that's from the area, is often way better adapted to fight the local pests in its own environment. And get this, the researchers found their champion on a single dead weevil, right there in Taiwan. Their bet was that this local champion would be way, way deadlier than some generic fungus you could buy. So what do you do when you have a theory like that? You test it. They set up a direct head-to-head competition, a fungal showdown, to see if the local hero could really take down the commercial giant.
All right, so in this corner, we've got PM04. That's our native strain, the local hero. And in the other corner, ARSEF5369, a standard commercial strain, the kind you can just buy anywhere. The stage was set for a battle.
And the results? Wow. It wasn't even a contest. After only 7 days, that local PM04 strain had wiped out a staggering 96.7% of the weevils. The commercial one? A measly 33.3%. I mean, that is a total knockout. So the big question is, why? What made the local fungus so much better? The secret, it turns out, was all about enzymes. Okay, think of an insect's outer shell, its cuticle, like a suit of armor. To get inside, the fungus has to be able to break through that armor. And this chart shows us everything. The native strain produced so much more chitinase and protease. These are the key enzymes that literally dissolve that armor. So basically, it had a much, much better set of chemical keys to unlock the weevil and invade its body. Okay, so we know our native fungus is a stone-cold killer, and we know its secret is those super-powered enzymes. But what does that attack actually look like? Well, using some seriously powerful electron microscopes, the researchers got to watch the whole invasion happen, step by step. And let me tell you, it is a 4-step attack straight out of a horror movie. First, the spores have to land on the weevil and stick to it. Then, they germinate. They sprout this little tube that starts the invasion. Step 3 is the big one, the breach. Using those powerful enzymes, the fungus literally drills through the weevil's shell. And finally, once it's inside, it's game over. It colonizes the entire body, growing and just eating the weevil from the inside out. For the weevil, the end result is, well, it's total devastation. The fungus just keeps growing until it fills the whole body. And then it bursts back out through the dead weevil's shell, covering it in this fuzzy coat of new spores, all ready to go out and infect the next victim. It is a brutally efficient, self-replicating weapon. So this biology is absolutely fascinating, right? But what does it actually mean for the real world? For the farmers who are out there struggling with this super pest every single day? Well, what this research has done is identify an incredibly potent natural weapon. This PMO4 strain isn't just some cool thing in a petri dish. It is a prime candidate to become a new commercial biopesticide, one that's not only super effective against the local pests, but also way, way safer for the environment than all those harsh chemicals. And the cool thing is, the researchers have already thought about the next step. See, if you want to turn this into a product farmers can actually use, you need to be able to grow a lot of this fungus efficiently. So they figured out the perfect temperature for mass production, 25 degrees Celsius. That is a critical piece of the puzzle for turning a discovery in the lab into a solution in the field. All right, so let's wrap this up. What are the big things you should take away from all this? First, the sweet potato weevil is a huge problem. Second, a native killer fungus was worlds better than a generic commercial one. Third, its secret power comes from its superior armor-dissolving enzymes. And finally, all this research is paving the way for a brand new, powerful, and eco-friendly biopesticide. And all of this leaves us with an even bigger question to chew on. I mean, sure, this was one study on one pest with one fungus in Taiwan. But the idea behind it, that's universal. It really suggests that maybe some of the best solutions to our biggest agricultural problems aren't going to be invented in a chemistry lab. Maybe they're already out there, just waiting to be discovered, literally in our own backyards. You have to wonder, right? What other local champions are out there, perfectly designed to solve our own local problems? Now that's something to think about.